muted. It's all muted. Okay, howdy people. We are live with freaking book club music edition again. We're back. When was the last time we saw you? 2 weeks ago, talking some sweet albums. Last week we were talking movies, and then we're just going to keep alternating movies and music until I decide to actually do a book for book club. But until then, we're doing music, and today we have some awesome guests. Two of them making a return from the last episode. Gabs has been on every episode. Everybody, hello to Gabs. Wait, where's my soundboard? Damn it. See, I'm so procrastinating. Forget to bring the soundboard. There we go. Gabs, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
And then also making a return from last week, who chose The Frisco Kid, which freaking awesome movie. We got Charlie / Paladapunk / Goes Nowhere Does Nothing. How you doing, bud?
Adly doodly, friend arenas. Yeah, I'm glad you liked the movie last week.
Yeah, that was awesome. Speaking of movies, next week for book club, Nicolas Cage edition. So we're choosing 4 movies, all Nick Cage movies, and I still need one guest. Or 2 if Gabs... No, this is Gabs' thing. Never mind. I was going to say, if you want to sit out, Gabs, but she's the one that... She's like, you should do Nicolas Cage. I'm like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. But we got BD Jake. He said he's going to join us for Nick Cage, and we're still looking for one more person. Speaking of one more person, we have a new person coming to the show. Actually, everyone's going to be new because this is only episode 3. But I just met this dude on Beelzebub. He's freaking awesome. Mr. Creamnado. How you doing, bud?
Hello. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to talk about music.
Hell yeah.
Usually on streams, I just make really awful jokes. I actually get to talk about something I really am passionate about, music. So that's cool.
That is, yeah, and that's funny because I think I just mentioned like Primus at one point during the either as I was doing my outro or after the show was over, and you're like, you should do this Primus song. I'm like, or album, and I'm like, you should come on the show. So hell yeah. And we have 4 freaking awesome albums, and I am kicking myself because I totally forgot to post the cover. I usually have the covers of the albums sitting in the thing, so wait as I do 2 things, but we can talk about the 4 albums we chose. Should I just say the 4 albums first? Yes, I'll say all four albums first. I'm trying to still figure out the format here.
Go for it, bud.
So, we have my choice, which is Primus, or the Desaturating 7 by Primus. Gabs chose Them Crooked Vultures self-titled album. Platypunk. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of this band.
Pronounce Arion.
Arion. Thank you. And their album, Into the Electric Castle, which freaking wins for longest album so far on the show. And Creamnado choosing The Pixies' Doolittle, which I'm kind of kicking myself because I never really, other than like their hits, I don't really listen to the Pixies that much, and as I listened to them, I was like, oh, all my favorite bands are inspired by this band. Like you could hear it in I heard it in so many bands. You know what, screw it, we'll start off with Doolittle by the Pixies as I pull up this freaking image. But yeah, no, that album was cool. I thought that it was funny as I was listening to it that I felt like I was in a 90s movie the entire time. And let's see, I was going to do some actual research on albums instead of just being like, I like this stuff. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to have a wiki up and I'll actually say some stuff about it. Doolittle is the 2nd album by the Pixies, and it came out in 89. And some very interesting themes here, as surrealist imagery, biblical violence, descriptions of torture and death. But it sounds like you're in a 90s movie, which I feel is like totally opposite. You know, I feel like I'm in a rom-com here. Pretty hilarious. Let's see. yeah, other than that, you know, there's all the album was widely praised for its quiet / loud dynamic, which is like, yeah, that's one thing I'm like, I noticed. I'm like, yeah, it has that very, like, sometimes it just chills out and then goes freaking starts screaming and all that, which I referenced a lot to like Queens of the Stone Age. I'm like, oh dude, Josh Homme was totally inspired by like the guitar playing and maybe not the vocals, but I think I was saying that I feel like in the early Queens of the Stone Age albums where he let the bassist do like the heavy like guttural screaming, it's like, oh yeah, I think the Pixies was like kind of the first to be like, oh yeah, we'll have this happy song and then fucking gonna start screaming my ass off. And
Oh yeah, basically everyone from the '90s was one of the biggest indie bands around. They kind of broke out before, you know, all the other bands from the '90s. And the sad thing was they broke up as a band as all that stuff was kicking off, so they didn't even get to reap what they sowed.
yeah, shit. How many albums did they do?
Well, they've come back, but from what I remember is they have Surfer Rosa, Doolittle, 4. There's about 4.
Okay.
5 if you count the one they did before Doolittle and Surfer Rosa, which was kind of all demos.
Right on. Okay. Very cool. So I always ask this to everybody. What made you choose this album, Creamnado?
What made me choose it? I mean, it's I think it might be my favorite album. Like, I think that's a hard thing to say. If you listen to like lots of music, it's like, well, I love, for example, Them Crooked Vultures. That's a great album.
Hell yeah.
I've loved that one for a long time. There's so many different ones, but I always end up coming back to this album to listen to. It's got this like rawness that, you know, punk had in the 80s, but also this like kind of pop sensibility on top of it that just melds in this like, I think, a perfect way. And it really shows why this led to alt rock popping off in the 90s, along with like Jane's Addiction and many other bands.
Yeah, definitely hear that. It is, yeah, like I said, I could, as I was listening to it, I'm like, oh, so many of the bands I listen to are totally inspired by this. I remember as I was listening to it, I was trying to figure out, like, who do I listen to that is, like, I know so many vocalists that try to mimic that dude's, the way he sings, just like that kind of like talk singing, kind of like drawn out, kind of like, almost like he's slurring his words a bit, but like, I don't know. And I went through a couple names. I was like, Jack White kind of does a little bit of that, like over, like it sounds like it's over the telephone, kind of like talking kind of thing. And then I nailed it. I was like, Cage the Elephant. If y'all remember Cage the Elephant, first album.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Totally trying to sound like the Pixies, vocal wise at least. You know, that kind of like
Another band that I didn't put it together until I noticed they were going on tour together. Modest Mouse.
Oh, okay.
That's a band where the early stuff, like Lonesome Crowded West, sounds like a Pixies album with like a little bit of a country twang on it.
Right.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I didn't think about that. Platypunk, you got any thoughts on this album?
I'm kind of like you, where I kind of kicking myself for sleeping on this album for so long, because as much as I, proclaim myself to be like more like a metal guy, I do love me some good punk, and I was definitely getting that vibe. And like, yeah, had I not known it was from 1989, I definitely would have gotten like, yeah, this is like very much like a 90s movie. Like I'm seeing like shots from Clerks kind of flashing in my head.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one song was in at least like some movie or TV show. I heard it somewhere.
Here Comes Your Man?
Yeah.
That had to have been in a movie.
Been in like 4 or 5 or so. That's probably their most commercially accessible song besides "Where Is My Mind," because that obviously was in Fight Club and everyone remembers that end scene. But
right.
Here Comes Your Man it's straight up just a pop song.
Yeah, I was like, this has been in so many things. Like, yeah,
for sure.
I also love, when you have titles like "Monkey Gone to Heaven."
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good
I really
song.
like that one.
Oh, ooh. Wait, hold on one second, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
The one thing with that song, like "Monkey Goes to Heaven," the next song after it, "Mr. Greaves," kind of references it, like what happens lyrically in that song, and it's kind of a neat way to do that, because you don't really, besides in like actual like albums that have like that continuing story, you don't really see that. And this album doesn't have really a continuing story except for those 2 songs, which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah, and I the way I listen to music, especially stuff that's like brand new to me, is it would like take me several listens to like comprehend the lyrics. Like I hear the music first, so it's interesting to hear you talking about how those 2 songs have a connection to each other. So that definitely prompts a re-listen from me. So when I can eventually parse the lyrics myself, I can kind of be like, oh yeah, now I can't like listen to these two songs apart anymore.
Yeah, there's just so much with this album for me. There's just so much like little things that just now, after years and years of listening to it, you end up picking up. And it's like, for me, I play instruments, right? So every single time I go to pick up my guitar, I warm up with playing the one little guitar riff at Mr. Greaves. Nice. And it's like, that's kind of like just a little thing. And it's like, that's, you never hear anything that melodic in punk, really, besides, I guess, pop punk. But I don't think pop punk does it in a way that's as good as what's done specifically in that song.
Yeah, it's like when I think about punk, like it's like it can be many different things, but more down to the point, it just needs to kind of be like raw.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to the entire album before today, but I actually knew a lot of the songs already, and I was surprised by how many of the songs that I knew.
Yeah, it's a weird album where there's, I think over time afterwards, it's a lot of the songs have basically become like singles without even being singles, and so really the only ones that people don't know are just kind of like stuff that would usually be filler on another album. But on this album, I would say for the most part, it's all of quality. Maybe not "La La Love You." That song is a little bit, dude. That's what would be.
I'm sorry.
I liked it.
I was just talking. She was saying she had a song stuck in her head, and I'm like, you know what song I got stuck in my head? I don't know why, but I love you, because it was like, oh, I'm like, why? And then suddenly starts sounding like Morrissey. Oh, baby, yeah. I'm like, did they get Morrissey for this song? What's going on?
No, that was the drummer. They just decided to give him a song to sing on.
I loved it. I was like, it's been stuck in my head all day. I don't know why, but
it's such a weird song. But on that album, it does fit. Like if you heard that on any other album, you'd be like, what the hell is going on? But with this, it's like, okay, it's a little switch up.
Yeah. I agree. I enjoyed it. I think that female vocalist has like a hauntingly beautiful voice, dude. Something about the harmony and for the chorus of "Monkeys Go to Heaven," it like makes me like get chills. I don't know why the harmony. This monkey's gone to heaven. I don't know why, but that harmony between the vocalists, I'm like, God, that's so beautiful. I don't know why. It's such a good song.
And you know what's a weird one with that? The Frank Black, who's the one singer, he's the singer and he's one of the guitarists. He's actually singing the high part.
Okay.
Kim Deal, who's the female, and she's also the bassist of the band. She's singing the lower part.
Okay.
So it also kind of like throws you for a loop because you're thinking like women have higher voices. She's gonna sing that higher part, but then it's like that. So I think it's even just adds on to it a little bit more of this like, oh my God.
Yeah, I did notice that there was more than just the two singers, but I wasn't sure if it was the female or the backup or whatever. But like the band throughout the whole album, when they harmonize, I'm like, wow. Yeah, I'm a big appreciator of singers and them harmonizing and how well they mesh together and such. Alrighty, hold on. I finally got. Now let me see if I can do this right. I'm gonna show off the album. Damn it, where is it? The art. I like showing off the artwork. Oh, where it is. There it is. Okay.
Hey.
There it is. What a creepy looking. Such a. I don't know. The artwork itself.
That monkey again.
Is that damn monkey? Such a. Oh man, dude, they don't make like covers just like. That are just like make you question like, what the fuck am I looking at? But I'm all here for it.
But yeah, it's just so eye catching. It's like I have to pick this up. Like,
Yeah.
There was the previous album they had a woman who's shirtless. The album before that had a man in a hair shirt, and they got like some like really like underground artist to just be like, make us a cover album. He's like, I made you a guy with a shirt made of hair. They're like, okay, that may be a little too weird. But yeah, they just, I think this band always had like weirder album covers. And I think it fits perfectly with the music just kind of being a little off, but in the best way possible.
For sure. Yeah. This is definitely underrated because everybody thinks Pixies, so they automatically did they do I have to look it up, but what hits did they really, other than the Where's My Mind, they didn't do that one where it's the bass line's like do 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 do. That's not them, was it? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
No, that's no, I know exactly. You're talking about Cannonball by the Breeders.
Gotcha.
Fun fact, when the Pixies broke up, Kim Deal, the bassist, went and formed that band with her sister. That's her singing on that song.
So
that's her band after this one.
There is a connection. I know my brain.
Yeah.
I know my brain can pick things up. I've been playing music for so long. Like I pick up like little things like the way a person sings or the way a guitarist plays or shit. Les Claypool, you hear him slapping the bass right away. You're like, oh shit, I could hear that. But yeah, something about the that song that I mentioned. I'm like, it has like, is that the same band? Because, but very underrated. This whole album, front to back, there wasn't anything I really wanted to skip. Even La La Love You. But hell yeah. Let's see. Did I have any other fun facts about this? Anybody? Any other? I just had something else that damn, but it slipped. Another little like musical thing that I noticed. I'm blanking. Let's see. What else does Wikipedia say about the album? Oh yeah, inspired grunge pretty much. Yeah, right after this, the 90s starts coming, and then yeah, pretty much inspired the whole grunge movement. So that makes sense. But yeah,
I
man,
can definitely see that
for sure. I just, like I said, I hear so many, even Primus sounds. There's a lot of Pixies influence in Primus music. What else? I could just go down the line of bands that I listen to and be like, holy, You know, like I said, with the vocal style, Jack White kind of does that little like talky thing, and yeah, like what was the other album I mentioned? Cage the Elephant. Like even down to bands like shit, even like Deftones. You know, even though he does more of like a like I don't know, swoony. I don't know. That's not a word.
He goes from like screaming to Morrissey. Like, that's kind of Chino's thing.
And he still does kind of like a drawn out kind of like you, but he still sings it a little bit more than him. This guy just kind of like talks it out, and yeah, man, you just hear so many bands influenced by this, and those are the bands I look to appreciate. And I'm actually very glad you chose this, because now again, my brain has been opened, and I could see. I like going backwards. You know, like, oh, clearly everybody's inspired. Like Beatles is like a point of, you know, like Jesus after Beatles, before Beatles. But then you fill in the blanks of like all these other bands that you're like, oh shit, yeah, they started just taking what the Beatles did, and then they formed their own thing, and then the next wave took that and made their own thing. So I just kind of like seeing how it just all progressed. And it's crazy that like it only happened in the span of like, look, I'm 36 years old. In my lifetime, 3 eras of fucking phenomenal music happened, and it's like, what happened to today? Like, fuck.
Yeah, like I mean, for people, you know, of this generation, the people, you know, at that age when that album was coming out, all those people who were listening to it, like, you know, for example, Kurt Cobain was a very big fan of the Pixies. All those people, including the members of the Pixies, grew up with the Beatles. Like the harmonies you mentioned, they've even said that's totally from what we loved about the Beatles music, having those harmonies. There's just so much like that from that 60s era that ended up in the 90s music. I mean, you don't really think about it off the top of your head like that, but when you realize that, yeah, a lot of the people in the 90s were like, they were born in the 60s, they were listening to the Beatles. They had older siblings, they were listening to the Beatles. So that music ended up influencing everything in the 90s and late 80s, including the Pixies.
Yeah. Down to like because even Beatles had their early stuff sounded like kind of like I Want to Hold Your Hand, kind of like surfer, kind of old rock kind of music. I guess whatchamacallit did more of the surfer stuff, like the Beach Boys, but the Beach Boys was just, you know, the American Beatles, you know. So yeah, that old school rock twangy surfer music, yeah, I totally heard that in this, and it's very cool. And like I said, I can't help but feel like, especially like the first few songs on the album, it feels like a 90s movie right off the first bass line and drum riff and all that. I'm like, what kind of shenanigans are we going on up to today? I don't know. It's
one thing I'll say too is there's like hit songs like that I would class as like actual like their best songs scattered through the entire album, right?
Yeah.
So you start off with Debaser, you get Tame, which is just a crazy, it just breaks down into just craziness at the end. You get Hey, Here Comes Your Man. You end it with Gouge Away, which a lot of other bands, I would figure you would start with that because it's such a like, you know, it starts off kind of quieter, it hits that high energy, but for them, that's their album closer. It's kind of weird. Not a lot of albums have that many potential singles.
Right. Yeah, I fully agree. And I love the choice of how the album flows, like you just mentioned. And yeah, a good strong closer. I was just saying that I like it when a band puts their like best stuff like towards the middle end of the album, if not all the way to the end of the album. The first bit is like, all right, cool, warming you up, and then like the rest chunk of the album, you're like, I'm here till the fucking end. I want to hear that CD. I want to hear the record start skipping. Like I want to hear every moment of this album. And yeah, this was a good one. I dug it all.
Yeah, I think this one's going to go into my rotation for a while for sure.
Hell yeah. I'm telling you, for some reason, the chorus of This Monkey's Gone to Heaven just couldn't get out of my head. And then next to it is fucking La La Love You for some.
And you were talking about how like they have like that dynamic where they'll go like real quiet and then they'll go real loud for a part, and they'll go real quiet. While I was listening to this, I was thinking back to I don't know if any of you watch anime, or if you do, you remember the show Fully Cooley and that soundtrack that was on there.
No.
Like, I'm wondering how much influence, because I know, like, I looked into The Pillows, which was the band that did that soundtrack, and I know they were, like, inspired by, like, the Beatles and all that, too, and I'm wondering, like, how much of the Pixies' influence is in there, because they have similar, like, they'll get, have, like, real quiet, kind of, like, almost mellow, like, intros, and then they'll ramp up to this big epic thing, and then they'll cut right back to, like, the mellow, and kind of go, like, back and forth with that.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
So, like, the influence is, like, global.
For sure. And it's funny because you always hear, I always heard the name though, when my favorite bands would be talking about their favorite bands, Pixies would come up a lot, and I do not know why I confuse them probably with someone else. Is there a country trio that sounds like Dixie? I think I was confusing the Dixie Chicks.
I never knew Les Claypool was a big Dixie Chicks fan.
I think I was like somehow associating that a little bit, and I didn't fully make the connection, and I'm just like, oh, I guess they're just into country a bit. Well, that's why you learn, and you know, to read. Everybody learn to read. I think I made.
So I yell at my anchors every night. Just read, damn it.
Oh shit! But hell yeah, great album.
Gonna have to start doing books soon.
We will, but I'm not even gonna read the books. I'm gonna have someone read it to me. So you know what? I'm actually gonna do one of these book clubs of me actually reading a book. Shit, I might actually do streams of me reading the book, and y'all could laugh at me.
There you go.
Just sitting there quietly.
I'll be like that kid from fucking Happy Gilmore. We're like, today we learn, and then the whole chat is just today, Junior. But hell yeah. All right, let us move on to the next album, which shit, I'm sure the rest of these bands were somewhat influenced by the Pixies, two more so than the other, but you know what, we'll go with Charlie's 2-hour-long epic freaking album. I'm doing chronologically time-wise, so we had the 80s, now we got the 90s. Let me pull this one up. Freaking all right, again, I'm kicking myself because how the fuck did I not know about this shit? Like,
oh, it's unfortunately, this is one of those projects that's not as well known in America as it should be.
It's the guy's Dutch, I learned, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's pull up the wiki one more time. If you have some information that you already know, go ahead before I read it in the wiki.
Oh yeah, like so this was the third album in the Arion project, and while it stands on its own, most of these albums are like concept albums. They tell a full story, and all the stories kind of build into each other and kind of create this universe. And this one in particular, Into the Electric Castle, I feel like kind of acts as a cornerstone because it's referenced back to so much, and there's other stories that are built off of it. And this was the did I say this was the third album? Yes. And this was after
third album.
This is after the second album, Actual Fantasy, which that was just like a regular album. It didn't have a story to it. Didn't do so well. So Arian Lucassen, the guy who composes all of this, went back to what did work from his first album, which was The Final Experiment. And so he went ahead and he just kind of went with this, and he just took all of his influences, from not just from music but from like TV as well. He's a big sci-fi nerd, big Trekkie. So he
I could totally tell that he's a nerd from this.
Definitely took all of those influences and just kind of made his own story. No doubt, like again, based off using Star Trek as sort of like a basis for all of this, with the Forever character and the race that spawns off of that. And I don't know how much of the story you want me to explain here.
You know what? Tell the full story, because I didn't even realize the full-on story. As I was listening to it, I'm just like, because when I listen to this stuff, even when I tried paying attention to the lyrics, and to me I was just like, oh yeah, just generic. I'm thinking like Tenacious D, what other band? Led Zeppelin. Right away, Led Zeppelin came to mind from not the first song where they the introduction, but the second song that kicks in. The 12-string guitar starts playing, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like freaking Led Zeppelin. And I'm like, Led Zeppelin was nerds too. They're singing about Lord of the Rings and freaking Stairway to Heaven. So
yeah, that's right.
So it tied in my brain. I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is great. But yes, go ahead and explain what the exact story is, because I think it's like
is there like Spinal Tap?
Spinal Tap 2 came to mind. Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. So in so many words, it starts off, you hear like this big bang, and then you hear this like omniscient voice who is Peter Daltrey, which he was from. I got the wiki pulled up here. He was part of Kaleidoscope from the UK. And so he's this Forever character, and he's kind of like setting the tone. It's like, you're now in a place of no time and no space. I've chosen you 8 from all these different periods of time to go through what I call the Electric Castle. And I don't care what your life was before. You're going to go through this. You might die. Again, is what it is. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then we get to the 8 over the next few songs, who are in no particular order, like a Scottish Highlander, a Roman, like a Roman soldier, an Indian, a barbarian, an Egyptian, like a 60s hippie, like a King Arthur knight, and a kind of like a future spaceman, basically. And so the first track, Isis and Osiris, it's half of them trying to figure out, okay, like, where are we? Is this heaven? Is this hell? Like, I can't recognize what the constellations are, so how are we supposed to get anywhere? And then you kind of learn a bit about the personalities, where, again, depending on whether they think it's heaven or hell, kind of, they're along for the ride or not. And then you get the dynamic of the barbarian and the hippie, where the barbarian's very like boastful, very proud, like warrior, and the hippie's like, "Oh man, we're just tripping." And then you get the juxtaposition of the future man and the knight. And so while they're trying to figure that all out, and the Forever, the omniscient voice comes back in. It's like, all right, well, now you're gonna come to this decision tree where, spoilers, one of you has to die. And so there's this argument between the Highlander and the barbarian of, the barbarian's going is like, well, I'm not gonna die, what about this coward ass Highlander? And the Highlander's like, dude, who the fuck are you? And
yeah,
so
that was one of my favorite ones.
The Highlander, by the way, voiced by Fish of Fish.
the singer Fish?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Fish.
Oh my god.
I noticed that. I was like, is this the dude from Fish?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a dude from Fish sounding as Scottish as possible.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Because Gabs is
so
like,
yeah, eventually they decide
real quick, because Gabs is like trying to think of like an album to choose. She was thinking Ween, and then she's like, I should choose something like Fish. And I'm like, Fish,
that
what
would have
the fuck? All right, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So anyway, eventually they it's decided like, okay, the Highlander is the one that's going to stay behind and die. Meanwhile, everyone is going into the tunnel of light, which is kind of like this euphoric kind of passage, and the Highlander's just like, just don't bother me with the details, just let me die. Let's see, I got the track list pulled up here. So next we get to the Rainbow Bridge, which is got like one of the more epic kind of like bridges in the album. So they're basically like kind of warned. It's like, okay, the Rainbow Bridge, quote, so fragile yet so strong. Will it support you? And so the knight is kind of lamenting on a lost love at this point. And the hippies, it's like, everyone's just like, all right, we got to move forward. Across the bridge is the Electric Castle. We got to get there. And the hippies tripping out, just talking about like all the different colors. And then probably one of my favorite parts of the album is Peter Daltrey coming back in with the whole speech of like, step forward, beyond lies your goal, the Electric Castle, the past is gone, do you wish to lapse in limbo forever? No, be resolute, there are trials ahead, and rewards for those who strive, the cerebral search endures. And just like, man, that is like strangely like so inspirational. When you're just listening to it and you kind of catch that out of context. And it's like, you know what, Mr. Foreverman, I will keep going forward. And so that kind of concludes like Act 1. That's the end of like disc 1 of this double album.
That's right, disc 1, motherfucker. There's 2. I remember looking, I'm like, cool. And then I noticed I've never seen Spotify say disc 1, disc 2. I was like, wait a second, and then I scrolled all the way down.
Spotify's like, hey man, you're in here for a long journey.
Yeah,
sit back, relax.
Yeah, I scrolled all the way down to where it says the time of the title thing. It's like 2 hours. Fuck me. But totally worth it, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great music to play Valheim too.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be playing
absolutely.
Valheim the game and freaking she's like, I'm gonna be rocking out to this. Hell yeah.
Funny enough, that if you start the album along with starting up Final Fantasy VII, it does line up in a few places.
Remake or original?
Original.
Okay. Interesting.
It's interesting.
It's just funny, like the train just pulls up and then you hear, what heathen place is this that I have arrived in?
That's great.
I don't know why, but it reminds me of 2112 by Rush. Not just the fact that it's a concept album, but even stuff like the lighter parts of the album where it's a little more pulled back. And those were the parts of the album I think I enjoyed the most.
Right on.
Just because of that comparison to another really good album, and it's like, okay, I kind of have like a link here to connect it with, and yeah.
I also was because I messaged Charlie and I was like, dude, I got a couple albums that this is reminding me of. Porcupine Tree came to mind. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Which funny enough, he did work with a couple of members from Porcupine Tree later down the road.
Good shit. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Porcupine Tree, and a lot of they're just riffage, the riffs there, because it's progressive metal and stuff like that. So Porcupine Tree's right there with them, and gave me Primus vibes too. Led Zeppelin vibes anytime the freaking 12-string guitar would get busted out. And then just the riffs were just good old late 90s like new metal progressive riffs, just grooving, head bobbing type shit.
And then don't be surprised if you hear any like Alice Cooper influence, because Arian is a massive Alice Cooper fan.
Right on.
And so if you want, I can continue on with the second half of the plot.
That was just intermission, ladies and gentlemen. Back to your seats. We're talking part 2 of the album. Let's go.
So the 7 surviving humans, they make it to the Garden of Emotions, which is just outside of the castle. And again, just emotions start flaring up, and the hippies kind of like tripping out, still kind of like on that high. And the Egyptian, who's been played by Anneke van Giersbergen, the Egyptian, she's starting to kind of sense her impending death, going, Amun Ra had become to seal my fate.
Speaking of, shout out Amin Ra in the chat. Moo to you, buddy.
Who do you, Ra?
There's this.
Moo.
But anyway, so that's going on. Meanwhile, the Roman and the barbarian are having a bit of a power struggle, and the future man is like, hold on, wait, this place is like feeding on our negative emotions. We need to kind of get our shit together and like make our way through. Otherwise, we're all gonna die here. And most of them do make it. Except for the Egyptian, who was correct on sensing her impending death with, I believe, is one of their more popular songs, which is Valley of the Queens, which is kind of like this slow kind of like swan song. And then they eventually do make it into the castle, and they kind of split up and re-merge and go through. So we start with the castle hall, where it's the barbarian and the knight, who hear that, okay, yeah, this is, where all the ghosts live of the people that you've killed in the past. And so, I hate to be you who killed so many people. And so, like, they all feel just kind of like those haunting spirits, and has, like, one of the fattest riffs on the whole album.
Hell yeah.
So while they're going through that, the future man and the hippie are going up the Tower of Hope, which, as the name implies, is kind of filling them up with hope. And, just kind of dealing with that. This is where my memory starts to get a little bit weaker, because this is kind of like, usually once I get past the castle hall, I kind of want to skip to like the next couple of tracks.
Right on.
But then Cosmic Fusion is where you see the Indian die, where she's just wandering through, and then she's kind of lured to like this open window, and just by this one like presence that is like, I am this, I am that, and eventually is revealed like, I am death. Now, savor your final breath, as she's falling out the window. Both vocalists in that track are from the band Within Temptation, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the end of the Indian there, and then you get to the Mirror Maze, which sees our 4 surviving heroes. Just kind of, and then you learn more about the backgrounds, where it's like you kind of learn why the hippie decided to essentially become a hippie and just kind of escape through drugs, and the future man's trying to like help him work through that. Meanwhile, the Roman and the knight are going through similar kind of a session, where the Roman is having all sorts of doubts, and then the knight is like, no, you're strong, man, you can make it through, you can power through this. And eventually they all make it through. And then from there, there's Evil Devolution, where the future man kind of has his own existentialism of, all right, is humankind really going to be replaced by, machines and AI? Is this really our fate? Which, oddly enough, is more true today than it was in 1998.
Right.
And then, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got, we're getting to kind of like the climax here of the 2 gates, where they're almost on their way out. So we have the barbarian, the Roman, the knight, the future man, and the hippie. And they have a choice. They're told, like, there's 2 gates in front of you. One gate will take you back home. The other gate will just send you to oblivion. And so one is kind of like old, kind of broken down kind of looking gate. The other one is this gilded, gold looking one. And the barbarian, in his like pride and his blood, his greed, whatever, is like, all right, yeah, don't even bother following me, fools. I'm going through this glorious golden gate. The rest of you can just piss off. And then you find, and again, this is probably one of my more favorite segments of the album, is you see, you hear like the barbarian go through the gate, and then he's slowly realizing, whoops, this is the wrong gate.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go through that whole thing because I'm not going to like split anybody's ears with it. But then it's like, okay, and then the other four are like, okay, no, that was the wrong gate. Let's go to the correct one. Let's go. And the part that still gives me goosebumps to this day is like you hear the gate. It's that boom, whoosh, boom, whoosh. And before they all leave, the knight is kind of like questioning the Forever. Is like, okay, what was the point of all this? What am I fighting for?
Yeah.
And then like you hear them like they all leave through the gate, and then Forever does explain that he is like an eternal being, and that his people have been around for so long they've lost all sense of emotion, that humans were essentially an experiment through them. They're the ones that sent the meteor on the trajectory to wipe out dinosaurs, and so they put humans there as to kind of like try and do experiments to re-experience emotions again, and all had failed up to that point as humans started to like evolve too fast with technology and whatnot. So this particular Forever, he plucked 8 people throughout history, as he says, not randomly by chance. The reason why he says that is that I don't know if this is headcanon or if it was confirmed, but the 8 people chosen were 8 people within the bloodline of Arion, the blind minstrel, who is from the first album, who received a vision of Earth's demise through another science experiment. But that's a whole other story for another day.
What a tale, man.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, then like after that's all, and he's like, I'm weary now, I'm so tired. I too am far from home. And so then he kind of, the last track, Another Time, Another Space, is our 4 survivors going, okay, I don't really remember anything. Was that real? And then it just ends on Remember Forever. And I know I was talking for way too long, but it's also like one hell of a story.
That is an epic tale, and I didn't even know that was going on when I was listening to it. I'm just like, this is some dope riffs. Some great lyrics of just like fantasy and stuff. Like it was just like, to me, it's just like going down the hall. I don't know. It's just in my head. I'm just like, I wasn't really paying attention too much to the storyline. But now that I know that, and I'm gonna give it a second listen, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, that is what's going on. There's more than just dope riffs.
Yeah, and again, it kind of acts as like a cornerstone for all the album, all the stories and the albums going forward.
Right on.
As you might recognize like a character, like the colonist from the Dream Sequencer albums. If you tend to make that kind of connection, it's like, oh, maybe he was the Future Man. Or Mr. L from their album 01, talking about, soaring among the stars and like a time beyond space and all that. And it's like, oh, was he the hippie?
No
just like things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm definitely going to be listening to the rest of this band's stuff, because it's funny. I was thinking, I'm like, how have I never heard this? One. And, okay, I guess it was just one. How have I never heard this?
Right, and it also serves like, for me, it served as like a kind of like a gateway into the genre, because Arian works with so many guest musicians and singers. So you have like Annika van Giersbergen, like I had mentioned. You have Fish in there. You've got Damian Wilson, and then in future albums he works with people like James Labrie from Dream Theater, and he pulls in guest spots like Bruce Dickinson and Dee Snider on his most recent one.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's, and it's funny because I think, I mean, apparently it was this album was a success, but I think it just didn't enter like my sphere of like things, because by the late 90s everything was supposed to be edgy and like, I'm feeling Korn and Slipknot and all that stuff. So that whole like concept album story thing, I think it was just kind of like by by people like my age growing up. Like I'm raging against the machine and all that. Like we would probably find this kind of like silly and all. But now that I'm a grown up nerd, I'm like, oh, I can appreciate the fuck out of this shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and funny enough, like, I grew up around that same time, but my tastes have always been a little, like, not quite as mainstream as everyone else's. So, funny enough, I learned about this project while I was, like, deep into, like, Rammstein.
Nice.
Just through, like, a random, like, wiki page. It's like, oh, yeah, the singer from Rammstein was supposed to be on Arion. Whoa, what's this Arion project? And then, the nerd brain, my nerd brain was like, oh, this is freaking awesome. And then, the ye old days of LimeWire found mostly like the Human Equation. Is like, oh my god, this sounds fantastic. It's not like the heaviest thing I've ever heard, but it's just there's so much going on.
Yeah, very cool. Gabs, Creamnado, any thoughts on this album?
I mean, like, oh man, there's some fucking heavy riffs on here.
For sure.
Well, I wasn't expecting that either, because I was like, oh, okay, it's prog, all right. There's definitely a lot going on in the story that went completely the fuck over my head. Didn't even catch any of it, but I was like, yeah, this music is like, there's something going on here that I like. And yeah, dude, the riffs, oh my god, some of them are like just like an awesome classic rock riff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The best way to describe it. But then it came out in 1998 when everyone else was deciding to move on to other stuff. But they kind of made it clear that like in this album is an example that you could do these like kind of like classic rock sounding riffs and still make it good and still make it successful.
Absolutely. There's a riff in early on in the album that just immediately takes me to like I can picture like a hot summer night in the 60s.
Yeah, right on. And it's funny when you mentioned Rammstein, I'm like, oh yeah, and when I found out the guy was Dutch, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's something European about all this. I don't know why, but I don't know. My brain, when I hear like simple heavy riff, because their riffs weren't anything crazy, they're simple. And if you look at like Rammstein riffs, same thing. They don't do nothing crazy with the riffs. They just know how to freaking go 1 2 3 4 and freaking make a dope riff in that time signature. It was just something simple but yet heavy and freaking just like I love those riffs. I love those like freaking like almost breakdown freaking riffs. And so when you mentioned that Rammstein led you to this, totally made sense to me. Gabs, thoughts? Did you know the whole story was going on as you were listening to this?
Not like I wasn't paying like reading the lyrics the entire time. Like I said, I was kind of like playing Valheim a little bit while I was like listening to it and stuff.
Fair enough.
And I felt like it went very well with the game. It makes very good boss fight music.
That is true. Absolutely.
But no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I appreciate the whole rock opera, space opera thing. I just genuinely enjoy that type of thing. Sorry, there's planes flying over.
There is planes flying over by us. Sorry. But Gabs, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I liked it a lot. Like I said before, it made me think of a bunch of things. It made me think of what did I say before? Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, yeah. All
but
I can
also,
hear is
what was it? The album that Gino had us listen to, Ninja Sex Party. I was going to say that too, because it had, that was like, it had that like fantasy concept, but only this was like, more like serious.
Right. But just coming off of the last book club, because the last one we did, or the first episode of book club, we had Ninja Sex Party, The Prophecy on. So just coming off of that into this is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. What was I gonna say?
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. But oh yeah, as far as the story, did you like, were you like, as
Yeah, I enjoyed the story. I appreciated that. I liked how like the songs were kind of like it wasn't like necessarily just the same music like all the way through. Like the Tunnel of Love sounds almost like a different, like
Yeah.
genre like entirely, so that was interesting. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, and another tidbit about that is, and it's just kind of like how he kind of goes about doing most of his albums, is he tries to keep the instrumentation as like analog as possible. So, like, obviously you had like electric guitars and you got some synths in that, but all of the woodwind were like real woodwind instruments played by musicians who like know their craft, and it's the Hammond
fucking
like organ
pan flute
is
solo in the middle?
like pan flute solo, yeah.
Yeah,
like that-
yeah. I would say I love that.
Love the use of all the instruments.
Oh, Tunnel
Yeah.
of Light. Sorry, I said Tunnel of Love. I'm
Oh,
tired.
you're good.
Hilarious. Yeah, no, great freaking choice, Charlie. I loved it.
Yeah, I also really liked, when they got to the castle, like, the one about them arriving at the
Oh
the
yeah,
castle.
yeah. It's I'm glad you guys like it. And again, like you can basically like they're all good. My other one that I usually recommend to people is like, okay, maybe if you don't like sci-fi so much, check out The Human Equation. And again, it's a simple enough story, but there's enough there, and it's the same thing again. It's nothing like overly complicated, but it just hits just right.
Hell yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and like I too, like I like like the stuff about like Egyptian gods or like even what is it, the Norse mythology and stuff like that. So like all the references to all that because of the different characters' backgrounds and stuff, like it just made it for interesting songs.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Everybody go check out Arion Into the Electric Castle. Great introduction to this band and the crazy story. Now I'm gonna have to go listen to it again after hearing the whole story and being like, oh, I hear that now. I see. I see that there's more people here than just me. Because I'm like, is he talking to me? Am I going through this electric castle?
I mean, if you want to be along for the ride, sure, you can just be 20th century man.
No, I would be the stoner. I'm the stoner guy. Oh shit. Alrighty. Well, from one concept album to another, your choice actually inspired my choice. Cause I'm like, if we're talking concept albums and stories and stuff like that, then I wanna do one. Hold on, let me get this. Come on. What's happening here? Anyways, okay. My choice being another concept album. And I think this was actually their second concept album. First being the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or not Charlie, Charlie and the, no wait, not Charlie. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. God damn it.
Primus and the Chocolate Factory.
Primus and the Chocolate Factory. That was their first concept one, but this is their first concept of original music and the first album of original music they did with their original drummer, not Jason Alexander, because I keep saying Jason Alexander. That's George
Tim.
Costanza. It's Tim Alexander, which freaking amazing drummer, and some of my, he did almost all the original Primus albums. The only one he wasn't on, I think, was Anti-Pop. Oh no, he was not on the Brown album, Anti-Pop, and I think that's it. I think it was just those two albums, that mainstream Primus albums, that he was not on, but he was there from the beginning up until Tales from the Punch Bowl was his last album, which I think was 90 something. I think 96, 98. So it was the first album Tim Alexander did original drum work for Primus since freaking 98. So to me, I really love this guy's drumming. Like he's up there with like one of my favorite, like top drummers of all time. He makes Primus sound so freaking good. So I think maybe that's why I kind of really geeked out on this album. But as far as just, you know, pure musicianship wise, but as far as story wise and all that, let me pull up the wiki. Where is it? There it is. The Saturating 7, 9th album by Primus. And that it came out in 2017. And their last original album before that was the Green Naugahyde. Am I saying that right?
Naugahyde?
Yeah.
Which was 2011. So that's a 6-year difference between the two. And then, yeah, first album since Tales from the Punch Bowl with Tim Alexander, the drummer. And so the concept here, Desaturating 7, is a concept album based on a 1978 children's book, The Rainbow Goblins, written by an Italian author of children's book, Ulderico. I'm saying it wrong. Claypool used to read this book to his children when they were younger and was fascinated and inspired by the book's vibrant artwork and use of colors. Claypool always felt the book's story would make a fascinating musical project, and eventually approached his fellow band members about it, making original music and story based around the book. And then, yeah, second Primus. This is the second Primus album based off a movie or book, first being the Primus and the Chocolate Factory. And this is, yeah, their shortest full-length album to date. So, thankfully, I chose this one, and Charlie chose the longest album to date. So it worked out.
Yeah, I almost chose a really long one, too, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't.
Let me see. The album has been noted as a stylistic change for Primus. No, not really. I thought it was. I don't see.
To me, it sounded like the kind of like the culmination of like the previous two, like the sounds from Green Naugahyde and Chocolate Factory.
Right on.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Like it was like a logical, like next step.
Yeah. I freaking love this album, just pure musicianship wise. Literally, I think the whole album, for the most of the songs, it's Les is doing what I like to call the horse gallop. It's the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So it's all in 1 2. It's 1 2 3 4. But he's going and his right hand is just doing the whole time. Like each riff is and I'm like, I fucking love it. I don't care if every song is doing the gallop. It sounds so good.
That's such a Les Pool way of playing bass. Like that's such a technique that that's kind of like a more toned down version of stuff you would do in like Tommy the Cat.
Right, exactly. So
yeah, but that's what I say about Primus all the time though. It's like that's one of my favorite things about Primus, like listening to it and like especially like at shows, is that like it's just such bouncy music. Like it just makes you want to move, like just the way,
it's the funk.
Way Les plays, like it's just like it moves you.
It's the funk, baby, and it's kind of what I had to make a realization, because I keep saying that I'm a new metal fan of music, but really I'm just a funk metal fan. If you think about all the bands I really like, they had funky riffs. Korn, System of a Down, like they all made you bounce, and the bounce is the funk, and the funk comes with metal, and then that turns into Primus. There you go. Science, guys. It's easy. But
proven, documented,
exactly. Signed by many.
Funk science.
That's right. But yeah, no. This album, the intro, and the outro, I don't know if you guys know, is voiced by the bassist of Tool, Justin Chancellor.
Oh. Really? Okay.
So the beginning and yeah, the British voice. That's right. Fucking Tool has a British fucking bass player. I keep forgetting about that. But yeah, when he's talking about the 7 goblins. Yep, Justin Chancellor.
We saw them perform this live too.
Yeah, we saw Tool shortly. I think it was 2018. So the year after this came out, we went to go check out Primus. They do the first half hour, 45 minutes, 30 half hour to an hour. The first is all hits and stuff like that. Then they go backstage, change into whatever outfit for whatever album they're doing.
Their goblin outfits.
They got their goblin outfits. I think Claypool had like these horns, I think. And he didn't really wear like a mask or anything, but he had like these horns, and I think the other guys may have worn some similar stuff. But they come back.
Right, it might have been like a satyr type character.
Yeah. So and then they come back, and then they did this album front to back, and holy man, that was my favorite concert. And anytime he pulled out the freaking stand-up bass, we were right next to the subwoofers. My skull literally shook. It is. I swear it was nuts. Literally, like when he the one.
Yeah, we were so close.
We were close to the stage, but off to the side, right by one of the freaking subwoofer speakers. And when he pulled out the stand-up bass, especially with a bow, and he did the. Well, I'm like, holy Jesus Christ! So loud and amazing. It is, yeah, freaking, yeah. I'm a fan of the bass. I don't know why. I grew up learning guitar first, but I'm fascinated with all the instruments, and bass and less. Like I was so fascinated with Primus bass riffs that I just needed to start learning, and once I realized like really how simple, it is. He's just a genius at freaking tapping the right way and slapping the right way. He just makes the simplest riffs sound impossible to play, but then you realize, I'm like, oh, this guy's just fucking doing some weird shit up here. The bass is amazing because I realize you can't really play a bad note on the bass. The band could play whatever. The bassist could literally be doing fuck all, and it most of the time sounds good. And Les fucking just knows how to turn that science into just wildness. And yeah, the intro to this with the stand up bass and just dreariness and the setup for it, and then when it kicks in with freaking the 7. Freaking when I hear that, like Primus will play that song just like by itself, like they won't be
just at regular shows.
Yeah, regular shows when they weren't doing the whole album. I saw them. When did we see them? Oh, when they were doing the Rush thing. They ended up doing the same thing. They play their hits and then they go off stage, come back, and they did the entirety of. It wasn't 2112, was it? No, it was.
It was. It had Closer to the Heart on it.
Yes.
And Xanadu. I forget what the name of the album is now.
Yeah.
Kings.
Kings, yeah. Tribute to
Kings.
Yeah. I have a shirt. That was that Primus shirt that I was wearing last Beelzebub. That was from that show, from that tour. And yeah, so even during that set, clearly not during the Rush part, but they busted out playing the 7, and I'm like, holy shit, this is just now part of their repertoire. They'll bust this song out, and I don't know why, but it's just anytime Les does just like a 1 2 3 4 1, like just whatchamacallit is another good example. Too Many Puppies, where it goes boom 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 boom, like when he just does that on the quarter note, it's just like some of the heaviest stuff. So the 7 opening track past the intro was like fucking, oh, I just want to cream my pants. It's so good.
Yeah, always been the thing that Les Claypool does that always gets me is when he starts like playing with like power chords and he starts going like flamenco and shit.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, that's coming from a bass. Holy cow! And like, yeah, I'm with you. Where it's like I'm very much like I appreciate the bass especially, and that's for as bad as I am with guitars and bass, and that bass is what I'm like slightly more proficient with.
It's only 4 strings for the most part. It's easy to pick up. Only one
4
string
strings
at a time.
And no chords.
No chords, 1 string at a time, exactly. But I mean, no chords. Tell that to Les Claypool. But
yeah, him and like Tool, they're
Right.
the ones who like playing power chords. On
right.
bass.
And I actually learned not the power chord, but Les really uses the opposite, like not the power, like because the power chord is one note and then a half note down on the next string, and then you just do. Brrr. But if you hit both the notes, you're technically doing the power chord. It's just now you've brought that high note as the low note, and you do like this like chunky sounding power chord, which I started realizing that's what Les does, and I also started doing that on my guitar. Instead of doing a power chord, I would do the higher version of it, but minus. Basically, I would replace the top note would be the middle note, and then I'd harmonize the. I'm forgetting what I'm saying, but I do this chunky sounding version of the chord, and it really opened my mind up to how to even like do that with bass, and just how to walk up and down the neck with the bass and with chords and such. And yeah, man, freaking crazy, like not crazy hard techniques, just like once you learn them and you're like, oh my god, that's so simple. They're not like I said, they're not crazy hard. It's just he just knows what the hell he's doing, and it's just so good. And also, not just to talk about the bass, but I'm a huge fan of Larry the guitarist, because he just knows how to walk around Les's bass riffs like masterfully on every album, and this album has no exception. Like, he doesn't, like most bands, the bass is following the guitar, or vice versa, but rarely do I ever hear this dude following the bass. He's off doing his own thing, and it just like converges like two streams. When they say don't cross the streams, that's what they're fucking doing. They're crossing the streams right there, and that's what you get. Primus. It's fantabulous.
I know it's diverging a little bit from the album at hand, but it's you're talking about them remembering when they did Master of Puppets and essentially flipped the roles. So where Les was playing the melody on the bass and Lair was doing the rhythm with the bass line, basically with the guitar.
Yeah.
Like that was that was sick, man.
Yeah. No, these guys just Les and Lair are like name a more iconic duo. Maybe Larry David and JB Smooth from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Top two iconic duos ever right there. But no, man, I am I became obsessed with this album. I was like mad that it's only 30 minutes long, and then like I would listen to really like maybe just I would skip the intro because, you know, it's just telling the stories and there's a little bit of the thing. I'd go right to the 7, then the next one with the Trek, which is just more bouncy freaking like freaking, oh man. Again, back to the guitar doing just fun stuff while Les is just going boom 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 boom. And
then, now anytime anything is over the hill, we have to be like, oh, it's over that.
Oh yeah,
over
the track.
that hill.
Very next hill, the very next hill. Yeah, we were saying that when we were playing Outward yesterday. We're like, oh, where's our bass? It's just over that hill, the very next hill.
That town's just over that hill.
That's right. Oh man, great song. And then it goes into the dream, which just kind of like stops. And it's like takes a minute to get into. There's a little bit of like guitar, but then it does get into like a cool like riff just out of nowhere. And then is the Storm next, I think. And I don't know if I'm missing a song, but yeah, then the Storm happens. And when I heard that one live, when the thunder kicked in, because they had the they had the sound effects and everything kicking in, the thunder kicked in, and again we were next to the fucking subwoofer. I jump scared so hard. I went, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? And then oh yeah, then the song was just heavy bass, but delay on the bass, so it's just like, and I'm like, it's oh my god, just what that man could do with a bass, I can't express enough. It's just some of the just. And then when you kick into the beat, I'm like, oh my god, I want to punch someone in the face listening to this shit. It's so good. I swear, funk makes me just, I don't know, get hard or something. I'm gonna cream. Now,
Alright,
calm down. No, hold on. Damn it, set it up. Where is it? I'm gonna cream my pants.
Go ahead, you got it.
Thank you, Beetlejuice.
do not come.
Do not come. I'm gonna come. But anyways. But yeah. A short, sweet album. Freaking, yeah, only 30 minutes long. And really it's to me, it's like it's just three tracks, an intro and an outro, which are pretty similar, like the same thing. And then the dream is really just kind of like, I don't know. It does eventually kick into a song, but it's just like little guitar
Little interlude,
yeah, just a quick little interlude, and then continuing the story, and then the story being just 7 goblins who red, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, I really like that, like the concept of it and everything. I never read that book as a child, but similarities kind of with other children's stories, but I like the idea of these goblins that steal color and like make the world like desaturated of color and like everything all like dreary and like it's just interesting.
Yeah, I could see why Les was not obsessed, but like found it fascinating, and it totally came out to be a freaking awesome album.
Appreciated even more that it was a fellow paisan.
Italiano. I think Les is Italian. No,
I don't know. You said the guy that wrote the book was. That's what.
But I'm only saying that because like songs like what's that song? In an earlier Primus album, talking about an Italian boy coming over. I'm blanking on it. Am I gonna figure it out before I move on? Was it on like Sailing the Seas of Cheese? Oh fuck! What is that song? American Life.
He talks about so many people. He might not be talking about himself. He's just talking about like the American dream, the American life.
True. But it says, in the song specifically, an Italian boy, is coming in over. And sure, he could be talking about, I don't know, maybe, Italian books.
Talking about my grandfather.
But no, yeah, I gotta see what Les is, because if he's Italian, it starts to make sense. Some of the songs.
Yeah, I don't know. The Claypool, I have no idea.
True. It could be a stage name.
If that is, I'd say if that is his real name.
If that is your real name. But yeah. Creamnado, your thoughts on? Go ahead, Gaps, real quick.
I was just gonna get mine out of the way and say Primus is one of my favorite bands. I love this album. Like I said, we saw it live. It was great live. They're an amazing band to see live because they sound so good. Like whether you see them indoors, outdoors, like wherever you see them. I honestly haven't been to a bad Primus show.
Yep. And
even when people are passing out and getting hauled out of there on a stretcher,
out of stretchers, or just falling asleep during the concert. Yeah. We just went to go see. Again, I'm picking my album choices based off the last concert I just went to, which was Primus, Pussifer, and A Perfect Circle. 2 of the bands by Maynard James Keenan. It was his 60th birthday tour, and he brought Primus along with him, and they all kind of like shared the stage thing where they all like played 3 songs, and then the next band would play 3 songs, next band would play, and they just keep alternating. Occasionally throw in everybody together would jam together for a song. Every once like they did it 3 or 4 times. And
then they wrote 3 songs like for the
specifically
tour
just for the tour. So yeah, they had a Primus song, a Pussifer, everybody, but it's Maynard singing on all of them. So to hear a Primus song with Maynard singing is kind of surreal. It was surreal to see that show. That was my freaking childhood playlist. And especially because it wasn't all A Perfect Circle and then all Pussifer and then all Primus. It just kept mixing the three. I'm like, this is literally my childhood playlist on shuffle. So I'm still on the high of that concert. So on the first episode of Book Club, I chose a Pussifer album. Actually, the latest Pussifer album, and on this episode, I chose the latest Primus album, and then I'll probably choose a Perfect Circle album for the next one, because I'm just, those bands were so awesome that I just want to show off some of the things. Speaking of showing off, hold on, I'm gonna step away for 2 seconds. I got 2 vinyls to show. Give me 3 seconds.
This album was like
Okay.
the first actual song on this album. I was like, yes, I'm in. This is Primus. I was locked in for it, and it's such a fun novel, not even a novelty of an album. I feel like I could listen to some of these songs outside of it, but just as a thing together, it's like it's a neat idea, especially based off of a book you read to your children. There's obviously,
Right, like you could play this to your kids. Your kids could listen to this before bed.
Yeah.
Maybe he made it so that so he could stop reading the books to his kids and just put on his album. It's like, all right, go to sleep now.
I think your kids will appreciate this a little bit more than Shake Hands with Beef, but maybe not.
Dude, don't even get me started on Shake Hands with Beef. To me, Shake Hands with Beef
Dirtiest riff
is the best stripper music ever. Prove me wrong. Tell me you can't see a stripper dancing to that. Like, man, that's been a childhood dream of mine. I'm like, I just want to go to a strip club and have them play Shake Hands with Beef all day.
Oh God, be the strip club from Porky's.
Oh shit.
Paul's probably never seen that movie.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Porky's, I haven't seen it.
Paul's never seen most most classics, so
You've never seen Porky's?
Nah.
Wow.
I shame him all the time. I'm always like, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch that. That's kind of like what book club is.
Yeah,
it's like to force Paul to watch new stuff.
It's yeah. We've only done one movie episode so far last week, which real quick shout out to Insidious Bliss for choosing this movie.
You goddamn farts!
Changed Paul's life.
Changed my. If you've never seen,
I've been using that quote ever since too.
If you haven't seen The Lighthouse, go check out The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. I love that movie. I don't know why I fucking love that movie so much, but that I keep quoting the goddamn farts. It's so funny. But yeah, no. So I've been really enjoying these book clubs because it's making me listen to shit I usually don't listen to, watch shit I don't usually watch, and maybe I'll eventually read, guys. Book club with books. Let's go, everybody. Damn it, where's too late with the freaking? There we go.
Shut up, bitch!
That was I pressed the wrong button. Okay. Oh yeah, real quick. I know to you guys in the Discord, it's gonna look right to you guys, but everyone in the stream, it's gonna look backwards. So I apologize on that. But it is the vinyl of Primus, the Desaturating 7. Yeah, it's all backwards to you guys, I know, but that says the Valley, and then that says the Set. But no.
And there's different colors
just
too.
came out with
Yeah, each color.
And they just came out with an anniversary edition, like a special edition vinyl, and I was like, damn, now we gotta buy that one.
Yeah, here's
She's
some
real beautiful, Clark.
some just artwork color in the album.
Yeah, the anniversary edition has way more
booklet.
artwork too, and that's I was like, damn, I want that.
And then, oh, dang it. Since I'm a whore for cool vinyls, it's a splattered rainbow.
Ooh.
But that's not the best part. You know what the best part is? It's see-through.
Oh, clear. Oh, wow.
My God.
I know, right? I fucking love vinyls, man. I became obsessed when the pandemic hit. I got me a good fucking record player, turntable, and Man, I was just looking at my 3 boxes that I have, just filled with vinyls, just fucking albums that I loved, and that's pretty much how I'm probably going to be choosing a lot of the albums.
The only vinyl I have that's like a different color is I have this weird kind of reddish, like almost like bloodstain looking one for Bad Motorfinger by Soundgarden.
Oh no shit!
And then completely red for fucking Blondie's first album.
Okay.
One with like One Way or Another on it and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays they do so many like they print different colored ones all the time because they try to like get you to buy it. Like how I said, we already have a Primus Desaturating 7, but I want the other one because it's a different color, but mostly just for the extra artwork.
Right. I have 3 versions of the same Gojira album just because I was like, let me get all the colors.
Well, yeah, I mean that's part of the package when you're buying a vinyl like that is you're paying for the artwork. So having 3 different versions with 3 different artworks, like I think that's worth it.
It's 3 different, not even artworks. It's just 3 different colored vinyls. It's the same
Still,
artwork.
yeah.
But yeah, I love. It's so cool to just, especially certain ones.
But like when you collect things, then
yeah. Well, I don't collect much, especially physical stuff, because I gave up on movies a long time ago because I sailed the seas. Music became streaming, games were digital, so really the only thing I did collect before were CDs just because there was no other way to listen to music, and now I like collecting vinyl, which I'm also going to real quickly show my last week's choice because I forgot to bring this vinyl back upstairs, but this was my last week's choice was Pucifer. Again, I know it's backwards. You guys could read it, but chat can't. But fucking Maynard as Billy D. What was his name? Character? Billy D. something, or is it just Billy D? But
yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I love Pucifer. It's like I think that's my favorite Maynard project. I know everybody probably chooses Tool, but I think that this album is like, or this band is like his baby. It's under his own label. It's under his own thing. So I know we're sidetracking, but another fully clear. I like the other one. The other one has splatter and clear, but this one's just full on clear. Well, you can see me right there. Okay. But hell yeah, man. I love me some vinyl. I actually have an idea just for some random Rumble streams because Rumble will let you play music. I was thinking of taking my webcam, pointing it at the record player, and people could just watch the fucking thing spin. But I'll also have the music playing through it, so you could get the nice quality and the sound of the
DJ some vinyl.
DJ some vinyl, yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Heck yeah, and then just hang out with chat and talk, music and listen to and watch the vinyl spin. I probably won't even talk during the music. I'll just be in chatting with people. But future Rumble streams. Heck yeah. Insidious says Paul now collects cats. That is true. I now am a cat collector. I have 5.
Look, Sergeant Snuggles.
Sergeant Snuggles. That's a great name.
I think you can get a T-shirt of that.
Of what? Sergeant Snuggles?
There's actually it's a Psycho 6 song called Adulting, and at one point he's like, I don't want to do adulting stuff, I just want to make videos of my cat, and then eventually gets to the point where it's like, look, Sergeant Snuggles, a comic. Why are you making videos of your cat? Aren't you unemployed? And so they took Sergeant Snuggles and turned him into a T-shirt.
That's hilarious. And now I want it.
It's a sick looking shirt.
I got one cat shirt from Target, but now I see everyone wearing it, so I'm like, damn, I'm not special anymore. Son of a bitch.
I mean, you got your shirt from Target. Everyone has access to Target.
That's true. But Gino got the same shirt now, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm happy me and Gino could be shirt twinsies.
There you go, twins.
Shirt twinsies. Me and Gino need to do a stream together like this, and I'm gonna force him to be on camera, and we'll both wear the shirt. So next book club, Gino, I'm looking at you. You better wear your damn cat DJing shirt. That's right. All right. That was the third album. All right, one more album. We're doing good on timing. All right, yeah, perfect on timing. One last one, guys. Let me get this up here. And Gabs is on her Josh Homme freaking kick because her last choice was Queens of the Stone Age, and now she's like, you know what? I'm gonna do side Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, it's like Queens of the Stone Age is my other favorite band, and like Les Claypool is one of my favorite musicians, but my other favorite musician is Josh Homme.
Heck yeah, I kind of got into Queens of the Stone Age pretty late. When their big hit came out with the Just So You Know and what was the
Go with the flow.
Go with the Flow, thank you. Yeah, when those two came out, I was like, yeah, they're good songs and all that. I just didn't become completely obsessed with the band until like I just started listening to their albums, and I was like, oh, the songs that aren't the hits are the ones that are fucking awesome. And so yeah, when this super project, because for those that don't know, this is a super group. This isn't just Josh Homme from freaking Queens of the Stone Age. It's also
this isn't Queens.
This isn't Queens of the Stone Age, although it sounds just like it. If you were to play this and then throw in a Queens of the Stone Age song in the middle of it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't hear any difference. Maybe no, yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference. But the other, what makes this a super group is you also have John Paul Jones. Is that the name of the Led Zeppelin bassist?
Yep.
You got the bassist from Led Zeppelin, which I was like, oh my god, there's people still alive from Led Zeppelin? No, I'm joking. But yeah, you had him on bass, and if this was 5 years ago, maybe
I would say
more,
15 years ago.
if this was 5 to 10 years ago, we'd all be freaking out about this man. But as of late, we're all like, Dave Grohl on drums. Yeah, I'm still a fan of. I wasn't actually. You know what? I'm not a huge.
It's a talented guy. Shit takes.
Yeah. Foo Fighters playing for the inauguration of Biden was kind of like a.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear the other thing?
Unfortunate.
Very
He
unfortunate.
said he wrote "Best of You" for John Kerry, and it's like, oh, I can't listen to that song anymore.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my.
It just was. He wrote it about John Kerry losing the U.S. election to George Bush. I'm like,
Hilarious.
if I'm
Wow.
John Kerry, I'm like, you wrote a song about how much of a loser I am. That doesn't help my case.
They're always getting the best of you, John.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I said, talented musician, but God, do I hate him.
Right. Oh god, especially what you just told us. Oh my god. Anyways, but yes. So Dave Grohl played drums. Thank God. He did some backup vocals, but again, the helm was held. Is that the right way you say it? Anyways, at the helm was Josh Homme, and yeah, no, just another fantastic album. This one could have easily, yeah, for sure been a Queens of the Stone Age album, even with like the artwork and all. It fits a lot with the latest set of Queens of the Stone Age albums, which may have been like the inspiration for like the new artwork style and such, because like Clockwork and Villains and stuff like that kind of have that similar art style as far
Right, same
as
style and color themes.
yeah, for sure. But great super group. John Paul Jones's bass playing actually is quite interesting on some of the songs. Like, he really just walks the bass up and down. He's like not really following Homme, which he likes to sometimes just hold on a note for a long time. But I'll hear John Paul Jones just freaking bass going do 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 do, like just like going up and down while he's just going, and it's like, man, that's again back to like what I was saying. The bassist can't really play a bad note. if you're doing it, if you know how to walk it. But yeah, no, freaking, to me, almost every song on this is a hit. I can't skip any song on here. His riffage, the way he writes his riffs, and some of them just are so heavy. Like I'm into metal, but god damn, I think the first song, what's the name of the first song again? It just stops like,
No one loves me, neither do I.
yeah, neither do I, and then it stops, and then he goes, huh. I'm like, oh my god, that's like some of the heaviest. I just love that. And then he gets progressive with it by switching it up. It goes, I'm like, fuck, I can't keep up with this. This is like, to me, as a person that Shane Bentley saying those vocal guitar riffs, that's right, I know how to do vocal guitars. He's like, are we just hearing, this is how I get past the copyright on YouTube. I have to sit here and
Mouth it all out.
yeah, mouth it out. I'll beatbox it for you guys. But nah, yeah, man, like the riffage and just everything, like he has such a good, and again, back to the Pixies, he could go from like chill, quiet to just heavy. He doesn't do much of like screaming or angry vocals himself. Like he mainly pushed all that onto his bass player at the time. But what was his name? Blanking on it. Oliveri, John Oliveri. He was a former member of Caius he was in Caius with him, I think.
Yeah, they were both in there.
Yeah, and so when the earlier Queens of the Stone Age albums, he would do like those heavy type riffs that you still hear, but he wouldn't be afraid to let John to do the crazy, just guttural, kind of screaming. And now you don't hear that anymore because I think John was on drugs a lot, so they split. So
like a domestic abuse thing as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah. There's some shit happened.
Yeah, the smart of him to distance himself from him. Unfortunate, but yes, smart on his part to be like, yeah, we're not in a band anymore. Last I heard that John was gonna do a band with someone else. It was another super group. It was gonna be Corey Taylor from Slipknot, him, and someone else. I can't remember who the third person was, but I was like, that'd be interesting. But that kind of fell through.
Of screaming.
That'd be a lot.
That's a lot of screaming.
That is a lot of screaming for sure. For sure. But yeah, so you still get those like heavy riffs and stuff like that, but minus the guttural type screams and stuff. But yeah, very like when I was listening to the Pixies, I'm like, oh shit, this must have been like Josh Homme's like one of his top influences for sure in the guitar playing, because they did a lot of like eerie sounding guitar riffs that this holds on, they just hold on one note, not or like they'll hold on one chord the whole time, but like an eerie sounding chord. And I'm like, oh, that's such a Josh Homme thing to do. And yeah, that's all over in this album. It's that style is all scattered across all this album. And I'm blanking on names of songs, but I was just hearing it earlier today. And
yeah, so the whole album's good. Mind Eraser, No Chaser, New Fang, Dead and Friends.
Yes.
Caligula, another great one.
That one's heavy.
There's a
were you saying Flightypunk?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I have the memory of a steel sieve, so sometimes it takes me a few listens for it to really latch on. But there is a riff from Gunman that I can still just sort of picture, and it's just those little hooks that are all throughout this album that make it really good.
Yeah, I think I was thinking Elephants, where it's like,
Yeah, great, one of my favorites.
That riff is just so eerie but just sexy. It's like, because he does he bends, he does the same note, but or he does a some sort of chord, but he like bends one note and it just sounds so like eerie, and then he just walks it up, and it's, man, like the off timing. He does so many like not on the 1, 2, or 3. He does it on the and. So the 1 and 2 and 3 and and he loves playing in that realm, and I love it. I love it. It's again like when Gab says how Primus sounds bouncy. Same thing with like a lot of Josh Homme's riffs, and a lot of songs in this album, and Queens of the Stone Age, and Eagles of Death Metal, his other project, which probably
like music that makes me want to move.
That's what music that makes bitches want to move is what makes guys want to buy the album and go to those. It's a circle. It's like a circle. This killer album.
It's like Reptiles, another great one.
Yeah. I really can't name a bad song. I haven't been able to name a bad song made by Josh in a long time. Like every Queens of the Stone Age album I put on, I love. Every whatchamacallit, Eagles of Death Metal. I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 Eagles of Death Metal songs that I'm not a huge fan of because someone's wife was singing on it, and I didn't even realize that was Josh Homme's wife singing on those songs, and I'm like, this is the worst. That chick singer is terrible. And then I find out it's his wife, and then they split up, and I'm like, yay, good. We don't have to hear her.
And there was a bunch of shit she pulled too. Like there was like some legal stuff, and she was doing some borderline criminal things.
She's a psycho and a terrible person, and there's a reason why he got custody.
Exactly. Do you know how rare it is for a man to get custody of their kids?
That's how bad she was.
Yeah, exactly.
How bad she was. And we actually, the first episode of Book Club, Gabs chose the latest Queens of the Stone Age album, which talked a lot about the divorce and all that. And we got into it on that first episode, talking about it. And man, it's a shame because he loved her, and bitches be wild.
Yeah.
For real.
It's just crazy when you think, like he said, in that album, like, he thought that they were like equals. He thought that, that the love went both ways, but like obviously at a certain point, it's like obviously he loved her more than she loved him if she was able to do those things to him. Like you can't really do that to somebody that you love.
Yeah, absolutely. Creamnado, you were going to say something?
I actually got to go see Queens of the Stone Age like a month ago.
Oh, nice.
Well, that was
awesome.
Wait, that wasn't at, where was that at? They were touring?
It was up in Canada.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm not going to say where because the people.
Yeah. They were just touring in Canada.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they were doing like a huge tour across the country. And then I was listening to this morning. I was thinking back, and I'm like, I think this might be one of the first albums I pirated.
Okay.
This came out when I was 8, and I remember at the time I really liked Foo Fighters. I still do.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get into Queens of the Stone Age, and I remember hearing that there was an album with both of them. I grabbed it and ran up a phone bill that made my parents very angry. Obviously, if you're gonna pirate things, do it on Wi-Fi. Don't do it on data.
Oh
yeah. But I spent a good
VPNs.
2 months just listening to this album every day on the bus going to school.
Dude, same. I mean, just this is one of those albums you just on repeat and it doesn't get old. Hell yeah. Hold on. My wiki. I had some other things that I learned from this. So apparently, this was Them Crooked Vultures. This album came out in 2009. And they just it doesn't say exactly how obviously Homme and Grohl have worked together. Dave Grohl did drum on one of the Queens of the Stone Age albums, the one that everyone knows the hits from. What is that what's the title of that one again? I'm blanking. So bad with names.
Oh, Songs for the Deaf.
Songs for the
probably,
Deaf. Yes. Thank you. So yeah.
Because I was say even this album, like at times you could feel like those influences too. Like they even go into like a little bit of like the like Spanish sounding like stuff at one point. Like that was all over that album. So
Right. The Spanish radio and all that. Yeah, for
exactly.
sure. I see that. I totally see that. See, the band started recording in February of 2009, and they did their first gig here in Chicago, right on, in August of the same year when they started recording. That would have been fucking awesome to see.
Damn, yeah, I was gonna say that would have been amazing.
I know. Goddamn, how old was I in 2009?
Yeah, because this is one of those things where it's like I love this album, but I'm like, you know, like if what do you call it? Like I've come to peace with the fact that I'll never like see it like performed. I'm just like,
Not quite, because in September of 2022, they reunited for a little bit of a performance for when Taylor Hawkins died from Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
So he showed up and they, I think, did a little bit of reunion, played a little bit of stuff there. But they have been mentioning that they want to get back together to do a second album. And let's see, what was the last?
They were hanging out recently, so.
Oh yeah, they were hanging out, like doing a couple shows together. But yeah, they are as early as like 2019. They've been still saying that they'd like to do a second album. Still, see, Grohl stated it's still hard to accept. I got to play in a band with John Paul Jones. Technically we're still in a band and we practice once every decade, and yeah, they say they hope to do a second album, which freaking hell yeah, man, I'm all for it. But
yeah, like I said before, like I love all of Josh Homme's projects. He's just such a talented guy, and I couldn't decide. I went back and forth a lot with my choice. Paul couldn't find anyone else to be on, so he's like, "You have to be on again." I was like, "Okay."
And she went through like 8 different choices.
More than that. I went through so many, and I kept flip-flopping and changing my mind, and
then I tried suggesting some stuff, and then I think we landed on them Crooked Vultures.
Well, this is one of the first ones that I had originally chosen, so I just was like, let's just go with whatever I said originally.
Yeah. It's like we'll just keep doing. She'll just keep doing Josh Homme albums, and for movie book club, she's gonna just keep doing Nicolas Cage. So
yeah, but like I like though that like he likes getting together like other musicians and making stuff. Like I was gonna do Desert Sessions, which is something that he does, and he has like a bunch of different people come on and make an album.
Yeah. If that would have been, if we did Desert Sessions, the last one actually had Les Claypool on it for a song. Les Claypool,
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry, the
bunch of people that I like. So
from if people know the show Toast of London or What We Do in the Shadows TV show recently, Matt Berry's a British comedian, but he has a fantastic voice. And if you watch Toast of London, he does a lot of his own like songs in that show. Dude, amazing vocalist, Matt Berry. She almost chose a Matt Berry album, and
I was gonna choose a Matt Berry album. I think more people should listen to Matt Berry.
he's got a great voice, and I love that show, Toast of London. That might be one of like we got to do a TV book club on that show because that's super underrated show. But everybody always sees clips from like Gundam always uses clips from that show. The fucking yes.
Yeah, but the music is good though, and it's interesting, and it's kind of like psychedelic.
Yeah, for sure, definitely got psychedelic vibes.
But yeah, and then he's just got an awesome voice.
Heck yeah, yeah, that would have been a good choice. The Desert Sessions, very underrated, not too known. Even if you are a fan of Josh Homme and Queens of the Stone Age, you'd be like, what the heck is the Desert Sessions? And yeah, that's his another little side project, but it's more like an open book, like open jam, like anyone who wants to be on this. Like so many people are on like every song has someone, some other musician or friend of his or something like that. So very interesting album, and maybe we'll see it in a future episode. Who knows? But I think that'll do it. We are at the 2-hour mark here. I know, Charlie, you gotta dip out pretty soon for work, and this is perfect timing. We can. I was
gonna say if anyone else had anything else to say about it, or.
Oh yeah, for sure. If anybody else have any things on anything to say on them Crooked Vultures?
I wish there would be another album. That's really all I can say. Is like it's great. I just wish we had more.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
Agree more. Let's cross our fingers and hope that those guys get back together and make some more music. Hell yeah. Charlie, any other last thoughts on this?
Again, this is another one of those ones that'll probably be in my rotation for a while, especially as I start to lock more of these songs into memory.
Right on, and that's what I love about this book club idea. I mean, I know everybody has a panel show where they're discussing movies most of the time, or TV shows. Everybody's getting their dicks wet on how crap Disney and Amazon shows are, but I want to take the time to appreciate some good shit. Movies, music, that's going to be the easy, like I keep saying, that's going to be the one that we keep alternating each week, because they're easier to consume. Most albums are 45 minutes, Charlie. And they're easy to consume, and movies are about an hour or 2 hours long.
I think the Ween one that I almost picked was like an hour and 50 minutes. And I was like, maybe I won't pick that one. I'll do something a little shorter.
Next.
Yeah, I could have done By a Thread, like the full version of Devin Townsend Project's By a Thread. That's like 5 CDs long.
Jesus.
Oh God.
That we'll have to do a themed episode. We'll be like, all right, albums longer than 2 hours or hour and a half. And then we'll be here all day talking about it.
That'll be for like a special, maybe.
Yeah.
A marathon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That would be like a long episode. 4 long albums and 1 extra long episode of book club. Hell yeah. But yes. So like I said, next week we're back to movies, and it's Nicolas Cage. So if anybody wants to hop on that one, just let me know, Twitter or YouTube. Not YouTube. Well, we're on YouTube. But if you hit the link tree in the description, or type it out or whatever down there below, you'll get all my links. Join the Discord. That's where we do these shows on. So if you don't have Discord, well, then you can't jump in on this call. Go create a Discord, you jingus. Also, yeah, we'll be back to movies next week. And what else do I have to say about book club? I think that's about it. Let's say outros for all these people, and thank everybody in the chat for popping in. Y'all have been freaking awesome. And let's go around. Charlie goes nowhere, does nothing. What do you got coming up?
First off, fantastic show as always. I love both times I've been on here. For what I've got coming up this Saturday, it's going to be, I believe, Fish Tank number 8, where that's my panel show, where every once in a while I get my dick wet about shitting on Disney. And I'm also reviving my efforts on Twitch, which, if you follow my link tree, you should find the link to that channel. I've been trying on and off since 2018 to finally get 50 followers, and I think this might be my year.
Let's go. I did it. And I didn't even try, so you could do it. I'll just send all the people that liked me over to you, and be no problem.
Awesome, man.
But no, honestly, even over on the Side Scrollers Discord, they're like really helping. Like the mods over there, Com and stuff like that. They're all partnered, and they're just like, yeah, if you need help, because all you really need, you can get the followers quite easy, just a few posts in the Discord, and we'll get at least 20 in a day, maybe, I don't know, in a couple days. I'm sure I can get you a good amount. But the watch time is the part that's really a bitch, is to get 3 average viewers on each one. and then I think whatever the minimum is. But I'm pretty sure I could get some people together to shout you out, and we'll get you some followers and get you there.
Oh yeah, much appreciated.
Hell yeah. And I will have his link tree in the description in a minute. I haven't been able to do that yet, but it will be there. If y'all know Linktree, it's gonodono / or
with the Linktree or the
Linktree. So it's Linktree /
I think it's like goes nowhere, does nothing.
Goes nowhere,
all
does
one word.
the whole all one word, right on. So if I will have the links available in a minute here.
So like I said, trying to get to 50 followers on Twitch, and like if you prefer Kick, I still need the 75 on Kick, and of course on YouTube, the more the better. I've crossed 50 not too long ago, on the road to Tree 50 because that's just fun to say, and then obviously need the 500 to get monetized, but that's where I'm at right now.
Right on. Good stuff, man. Yeah, everybody check out Goes Nowhere Does Nothing. Fish Tank is a great show. ADH Geek is awesome. I've been on there a couple times, Saturday mornings. And what other shows you got going on?
We're trying to one of my other regulars, the Voodoo Priestess, when we're both awake and not busy, we try to do something on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Thursdays, we were doing something called Fic and Book Club, which is basically just our excuse to read bad fan fiction and visual novels.
Right.
So some real life stuff's been getting in the way, so we haven't been able to get to that lately, but hopefully we can get back to it soon.
Right on. Yeah, those are always a joy. I remember you guys were trying to do the one game.
Oh yeah, we're doing Doki Doki Literature Club, and like I keep saying, it's gonna pick up because I know what happens, but she doesn't. So I'm just waiting to get to that part so I can just catch her reaction.
Hilarious. That's everybody. Go check out Goes Nowhere Does Nothing on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, all the fun places. Do you have a Rumble yet?
I do have a Rumble. There's one, you're talking about, spinning records. I actually have a similar idea that I'm trying to find a good time to launch. It is, if you look for Gono Dono Radio, it's not in the link tree yet, but I will update it as soon as I can.
Right on.
Otherwise, it's just rumble.com/goes nowhere does nothing, which should be in the link tree. That's the main, user account.
Gotcha. Right on. Well, Charlie is a hard worker, man. Everybody give him a follow, a sub, a like, a tip, a dono. Go no dono. He's the best. Alrighty.
Thank you.
No problem. And then we got Creamnado. What do you got going on?
Oh, I got so much going on. Actually, a lot. The best place to follow me is my my Twitter. You'll find out everything I'm doing over there, like Bronx Squad, Bronkin' on Dogs, the hashtag #1.
That's right.
Gaming podcast. Ya dogs.
Yeah.
On top of that, I do streaming and yeah.
Right. I was gonna say y'all better be careful because that one because you're hanging out with Lethal and Mazza and all them, and that Australian guy just got his ass torn for fucking saying their favorite words and stuff. So.
Yeah. I don't really say my favorite word too much anymore. It's fallen out of my vocabulary just by coincidence.
But Lethal and Mazza have plenty of those words to say.
They definitely do, and they don't shy away from saying it, which is why we all love them.
We do. Truly legends.
You can check me out there every day, and Gronk Squad doing edits, sometimes on videos. We got a big live stream actually tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're playing Fallout 76. We're forcing Lethal to play the worst game in the Fallout franchise besides Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh God! I heard I'm actually curious to tune in because I heard 76 picked up quite a bit since they added NPCs.
Yeah, we were gonna try playing it. I heard it got a little
now that
better,
they got
but it was fun with
NPCs.
friends.
Yeah, but yeah, we were actually thinking about trying 76 out because of all this hype and stuff like that. So, shit, if it looks good and looks fun, we might start playing some 76 as well.
Oh yeah.
Right on. Well, heck yeah. Anything else you got going on, or that's about it?
That's about it.
Sounds good. Everybody, go check out Creamnado, fucking legend, hanging out with some legends over in the fucking in the Gronk squad. Can't wait for just all the dumb shit coming from that side from down under. Those guys are fucking wild. Hell yeah. Alrighty, and the lovely Dabzilla here. You want to show yourself a bit, or should I just tell him that you could see her playing video games with me on my channel here?
Yeah, basically.
Basically. And
I'm around.
She's around. She has a Twitter. She doesn't want you to follow it unless you like DSP detractor stuff. Then maybe you might find her stuff funny. Other than that, she's pissing people off on Twitter as well. She got limited views for talking shit about something. We can't figure it out yet, but it's a badge of honor in my eyes. So.
Yeah, I keep getting kicked out of my Twitter account too. I keep having to prove that I'm a real person and not a robot. And I'm like, what do I even do? Like, I don't like post a crazy amount. I'm not like doing anything wild. I don't like follow a ton of people. I'm not like, I don't know.
She's just quietly sitting there laughing at Phil, and for some reason people are coming after her. I don't know. It's got to be one of the dent heads. It's got to be. Or there's a detractor that's jealous of you. I don't know what's going on, but Twitter's wild, by the way. And as for me, y'all are here on my channel. You know what's up. Hit the link tree to join the Discord. More, chatting about stuff going on in there. Also on Twitter, I'll post when I'm going live. We got just a lot of gaming. Tuesdays, me and Gabs are playing Outward on Gruesome Twosome Tuesdays. And then we play Grounded on Fridays with Insidious. And then Saturday and Sunday, I play with Insidious. Or Saturday, we've got the Company Boys playing with Insidious and DJ Access. And then on Sundays, we got our Halo days with Insidious, Dude, and to be determined until Nerdy Neo comes back so we could play Halo 3. But yeah, and then just trying to finish up Outer Worlds as well. Just a lot of video games going on this channel. I need to fucking make music eventually, but I'm too lazy at the moment. I'm having fun talking about music and playing video games. So that's what I'm gonna do for now until I figure out when I could pick up a guitar and plug it into my computer and hit the stream button. But until then, y'all know where I'm at and what to do. Thanks everybody once again for hanging out. Chat, the lovely panelists, you guys are awesome. One more freaking golf clap for that, right? And I'm gonna end the stream now.
Go ahead, you got it.
Thank you, Beetlejuice. Yeah, thanks again, everyone, and we will see you on the next one for Nicolas Cage movie night next week. Heck yeah! So check y'all later, and see ya.